Hey, Warren, how's it going today?
Great. Okay. Hey, did you say you got something new on managed hosting? Boy, we've talked about this a couple of times, but the hosting situation is there's getting to be some really good options for WordPress users.
Yeah, no, it's really coming around, and in particular, we're talking about managed WordPress hosting, or sometimes the terminology is premium WordPress hosting. And historically, premium WordPress hosting has meant, be ready, this is going to look a lot more expensive than what you're used to. I was talking to some folks in a Google group yesterday, and the same companies that have been mentioned to me several times came up. I use one of them. I use ZippyKid. I'm very fond of WP Engine as well. Those were the first two into the market that I know of. A third player that's come into the market is Synthesis. This is from the folks at Copyblogger Media. They're the makers of StudioPress and the Genesis framework. And
yeah, they usually do a good job.
And they also offer hosting. If you think about it, it's kind of in their best interest to provide hosting as a premium service. And all three of those share kind of a commonality. They've got price points that start off. ZippyKid of those three is the cheapest at $25. WP Engine is the most expensive at $29, and Synthesis is right in the middle at $27. But yesterday I learned about a fourth managed WordPress hosting company called Lightning Base, and they have Lightning Base. So they have some price points that start at $9.95 for a single site, which is less than half of what the other three competitors are offering. They have a three-site package where you can put 3 WordPress sites on one of their hosts. And keep in mind, they're managing things. All of these companies are managing everything that happens. So they manage your WordPress upgrades. They manage your plugin upgrades. They set up your CDN for you when you get started with them. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to worry about the cache plugins they set up. Typically, W3C or W3, not W3C, that's the standards form, but they typically set up a W3 cache, or sometimes they run one of their own specific to their servers. They custom configure all the settings on the servers. They usually include security and backup and restoring. And then the nice thing is when you get a plugin on the site that's going bad or goofy, they're usually there to help you identify what exactly is wrong and fix it for you so that you don't even know, or work with you to help you find a replacement plugin. So that's kind of where this managed concept comes in, because with a typical host, if you get a bad plugin or something going wrong, they just, nix your site, nix your server, take everything offline, call you up and say, hey, by the way, your site's down. We'll put it back up for you if you increase your plan to something that costs 2 to 3 times what you're used to paying. How does that sound? And with a normal host, everybody says, oh, that sounds like highway robbery. So these guys, the reason why people...
Well, it's because they're breaking it apart, and it's almost like they don't want to fix your problem there. They're in the hosting business. That's the commodity business they're in. And so it really does make sense, because you're going to have to pay somehow to get that done. Boy, I just had, I've been doing a lot of moving around, had some hosting problems. I wound up with W3 total cache completely turned off, and then moved it, and didn't clear the cache. And I did some design changes, so subsequent to the other problems, went ahead and changed the theme around. And I'm on a call with somebody, and they tell me, like, no, that's not what your site looks. They did a screen share, and I looked at it and go like, wow, my new, my last 2 posts aren't there, and it's the temporary theme I had up with links off to who knows what. And, and I went searching all over the place because I had no W3 cache to check on. Well, that one problem there, supposedly knowing what I'm doing, I had a couple of hours into finding the fix for it. And it really wasn't the fault of any of the other players involved. It certainly wasn't the plugin's fault. It wasn't the CDN's fault. It wasn't the registrar's fault, although I checked all those things because I had just been through them. The last place I looked is obviously where you always find the problem. And just in my time alone, it makes sense to be paying somebody else to do this. And I think some of the commodity pricing of if you've got servers or cloud equipment or whatever you call hardware out there that's got thousands of sites on them, we're going to see the prices come down on this. So I think right now is a good time to move.
Yeah, no, I'm probably going to give the Lightning-based folks a try with a couple of my sites. I have my most important site runs on ZippyKid right now, but I've got a number of other sites, and this has always been the problem with managed WordPress hosting or premium WordPress hosting companies. If you've got other sites that aren't really great yet, if you're still building them or you're still trying to grow them or something like that, and you can't necessarily afford to put them on a premium or managed host until they, make it to the big leagues. And the price point, the barrier to entry was just a little too high. So typically what most people do is they put it to a regular host. Usually that regular host eventually moves them from a web hosting level to a VPS where you're taking a chunk of the server. And that's where most people start to get in over their head because they're not server experts. They don't want to be server experts. It's not their business. They don't know how to optimize that particular server that they've never seen and may not even know the specs of to run with WordPress or with a cache plugin or all those things. And they're not paying for managed care from their web host as is. And if you try to, go to a regular web host and pay them for an expert to manage your server there, you're going to pay a whole lot more than what we're talking about with these managed WordPress hosting companies that specialize in that. But the point is, we've never had this place to grow things. We're all used to starting one website, 2 websites, 5 websites, 20. And, if one out of the 20 makes it to prime time, then we do something better with it. But you can't afford to pay, $30 a website for 20 websites that aren't ready for prime time yet. So this is an intermediate step as I see it. At $10 to $20 a month for 1 to 3 sites, I can take some of my sites that aren't fully ready for prime time, but they're important enough to me that I don't want them crashing all the time or getting some headaches from my generic hosting company, HostGator. And also, too, taking those larger sites off of HostGator will free up some resources on my VPS so that my, other sites in their infancy can continue to grow a bit. So,
great.
Interesting stuff.
I assume you're going to come and give us a review when that's set up.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be giving that a shot here sometime soon because, frankly, I'm paying $50 a month for a VPS. These guys can take my 3 largest sites off the VPS for $20 a month, and I could potentially ramp my VPS package level down to something cheaper. I might end up actually saving money right away and getting better service across the board. So that looks like a win-win to me. And that's what.
Well, I look forward to hearing about that.
Yep. So that's managed WordPress hosting or premium WordPress hosting. If anybody out there has heard of other companies besides those 4, let me know. I've heard some rumors that Liquid Web, another hosting company, provides the service, but I can't find anything on their webpage that indicates that they actually do. So I'm sure there will be more kind of creeping into the mix sometime soon. So if you've heard anything, drop us a comment or a video reply if you're on YouTube. And or hit us up on Twitter at Warren Whitlock or at Brett Bum, and we will talk to you soon.